welcome to Meetings in Math. You are here for angles of polygons and we're looking at the interior angles. Today's essential question is how can you find the sum of the angles of polygons and then use those to find the missing interior angles of a polygon. Today you'll need a pen or a pencil, something to write with, your Jaguar Jot, it should say 3.3 at the top, a ruler, a calculator, and a growth mindset, including your problem solving skills. So let's get started. All right, 3.3. So remember that the sum of the angles of a triangle is 180 degrees. And we're going to look at some different angles here. And what we're going to do is we're going to break these polygons into triangles to help us find this. So this is a quadrilateral, and a quadrilateral can be broken into two triangles. And since we know that a triangle is 180 degrees, we can see that when we add those, we get 360 degrees. We can see that when the number of sides is 4, that the sum of the angles is 360. Let's go ahead and write that as a multiplication problem to help us out. So you'll notice when we broke it into a triangle, we went from one vertex to the next. So let's go ahead and break this next one into two triangles. We're going to go from this vertex over to another vertex, and then again, this vertex to another one. So now this has how many sides? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this was a quadrilateral. We're going to let n equal the number of sides. So here n was equal to 4, and here n is going to be 5. So we have 3 triangles, each with 180. So when I add up 183 times, I get 540 degrees. So when I have a pentagon, or n is equal to 5, the sum of the angles is 540 degrees. Again, I could write this as a multiplication problem. 3 times 180 is 540. So in this very last one, I'd like you to use this as your vertex that you'll have more than one line coming from. And then I'd like you to make triangles. I want you to go ahead and do this one on your own and then come back. All right, so this time, how many triangles do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4 triangles. So when n is equal to, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we end up with 4 triangles. Do I have to write out the 184 times? No, I don't think I want to even, because I know that when I add the same thing 4 times, I can just multiply by 4. So I'm going to do 4 times 180, and I get 720 degrees. So hopefully I'm starting to see a pattern that when n was 4, I multiplied by 2, and when n was 5, I multiplied by 3, and when n is 6, I multiplied by 4. So to go from 4 to 2, what did you do? And 5 to 3, what do we do? And 6 to 4, what do? We subtract 2 each time. So there's a nice pattern that we are going to build from. Let's look at this pattern. When we have 3 sides, that's obviously just a triangle. So I was only able to make one triangle out of it. So then the sum of the angles was 180. When there was 4 sides, I made 2 triangles and I got 360. When there was 5 sides, I made 3 triangles and I got 540. When there was 6 sides, I made 4 triangles and I got 720. Do you see our pattern? 1, 2, 3, 4. So this must be 5. But I also can go 7 minus 2 is 5. So 5 times 180 is 900. So how many triangles am I going to have when I have a 10-sided figure? By the way, a 10-sided figure is called a decagon. So how many triangles would have I made? Well, I would have made 8 triangles. 10 minus 2, or 8 triangles. So 8 times 180 is 1,440 degrees. So now that I'm doing the same thing over and over, we can actually make a formula. Anytime I'm doing the same thing over and over, formulas can be made. So how did I go from number of sides to the number of triangles? I subtracted by 2. So what am I going to do with n? I'm going to subtract 2. And what did I do with this number of triangles to 180? I always just multiplied them. So the sum of the angles of a polygon is n minus 2 times 180. I have a nice little formula that I can use now to figure this out. So now let's use this formula to do some problems. Find the sum of the angles of a decagon. Well, we have to remind ourselves what a decagon is. A decagon means n equals 10. It's a 10-sided figure. So the number of sides is 10. N means the number of sides. N equals 10. And we're going to put that into our new formula that we just found. N minus 2 times 180. So now we know a value of n. Make sure we put that in parentheses. So 10 minus 2 times 180. 10 minus 2 is 8. 8 times 180 is 1,440 degrees. This right here is our evidence. This right here is our answer. So sometimes you'll get a problem. It'll look a little messy like this, and they'll say, well, go find what x is. So then the first thing we need to do is we need to find out how many sides are even on this thing. So just count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So right off the bat, we know n is equal to 7. Make sure you write it down. Don't try to keep it in your head. So there are two different ways we can do this problem depending on how you look at the sum. So we know that n is equal to 7. So n minus 2 times 180. So we just start there. So that would be 7 minus 2 times 180. 7 minus 2 is 5, and 5 times 180 is 900. So we know that the sum of this figure is 900. So that's one way I can find the sum. There's another way, though, that I can find the sum. The sum just means to add. So let's just start with the 121. I'm going to circle it so I don't lose my spot. 121, and I'm going to just go around like this. So 121 plus 160 plus 112 plus x. So I'm just literally going around like this. Plus 130 plus 128 plus 125. So that was all of that equals. So I'm going to add up all the numbers. So when I add all those up, I get 776 plus x. So that is 76 plus x. So these are both equal to adding them up, or the sums. So guess what I have here? I have an equation. 900 is equal to 776 plus x. So I'm going to subtract 76 off both sides, and I get 124 is equal to x. So I just used the fact that I know that there's two different ways to show the sum. One is using the new equation I just found, and one is just adding. I had to show somehow that eventually they have to equal each other, which I did, and therefore x is having to equal 124. So there you have it. Today we did the interior angles of a polygon. What I'd like you to do today is to write down this sentence. The sum of the angles of a polygon is n minus 2 times 180. I'd like you to write that down 2 more times today so that you can start remembering it and memorizing it. I'd also like you to explain this to an adult, a sibling, or your stuffed animal today. It'll help you, I promise. And remember to be kind to each other, because we can all use some extra kindness in our lives. I'll see you in our next lesson. Bye now.